What's up, everybody? It's your boy Mouse, aka Miguel. On behalf of Colossal Boxing, so you guys already know the deal. This is my second video, so we're just gonna get right into it. April 12th is coming up. Manny Pacquiao, Bradley 2. Long awaited fight. Everybody feels Pacquiao won the first fight. I thought he won by like 1 or 2 points. It wasn't as far-fetched as a lot of regular boxing fans made it. I thought Pacquiao started strong, but Bradley came up stronger towards the end of the fight. Now, I'm not going to go into the whole Bradley having 2 injured ankles and all that. Listen, injuries happen in the fight game. Guys have fought with broken hands and won. Guys have, it's just part of the sport. I mean, Bradley feels what he feels, and I'm Team Bradley. You know what I mean? Like I like his boxing style, I like his approach to the business. He's I'll fight anybody guy. He's not afraid to go out there and put himself out at risk. And I think last year he gained the respect of a lot of people fighting Ruslan and then Marquez winning those fights. Coming off the Pacquiao win, of course. A lot of people seem to think that Ruslan beat him. Now, yes, he did knock him down, but I feel Bradley won that fight. Not by a lot, but he won that fight. I mean, he still put up, and he still gave Ruslan, a fight for his money. It's not like Ruslan came in there and dominated him. A lot of people, they seem to want to give it to the underdog when it's a close fight. And, at the end of the day, we need to stop doing that as fans. In order for you to win a belt, you have to go in there and convincingly beat the champion. And I felt that night, he didn't. But anyway, April 12th, 2014, we finally have the fight a lot of people have been waiting for. Bradley 2. A lot of people feel that if it goes to the scorecards, Bob Arum is gonna, pay his dues and give Manny the win to make it even. And we've seen that before. Marquez, Pacquiao, it's typical. It's if you really look at a lot of Pacquiao's fights, they're really against the same opponents. It's like, come on, like, now we have Pacquiao, Bradley 2. He fought Marquez 4 times. Back when he fought Morales and Barrera a couple of times. It's like a lot of the same, but that's top rank style. All Bob Arum does is he mix and matches guys and throws them here, like Alvarado Rios too, and then he took Rios, took him up against Pac, took Alvarado, threw him up against Ruslan, took Marquez, threw him up against Alvarado. It's the same cycle, but I really feel Bradley. I think Bradley's gonna come out this one and win decisively. I mean, I think Pacquiao really wants to get the knockout, just to prove to everybody that that the first time it was a fluke like everybody thought it was, and I think that may be a big factor as to why Manny may not win. I think last time we saw Manny try to come out and get the knockout was against Marquez, and you saw how that ended. Now, I'm not saying that Bradley has, the power to knock out, Pacquiao in one shot. But, you never know. It's boxing. And a cumulative punches can get you knocked out as well. You don't have to be the world's strongest guy. You just need to go in there. And if you put a good enough beating on a guy, it's not uncommon to, knock a guy out. We've seen guys that have no hit. I mean, Paulie has like 2 knockouts, but still, he still has 2 knockouts. But I think Bradley pulls this decision away just to prove to everybody, that he did win, that he deserved the win the first time, and You know, I think it's gonna go 12 rounds. I think Bradley wins the decision. I think even if Bradley wins the decision, people are gonna talk shit regardless. You know, Manny Pacquiao fans and you know they fans. Nobody wants to accept their fighter's loss. It's the same with everybody. Whether Manny Pacquiao was Mayweather, whether it's Richard Abreu, you know what I'm saying? I don't like when my guys lose, you know what I'm saying? It's just, you know, that's a fan thing. You don't want to see a guy lose. But, you know, if Bradley wins this, and he wins it decisively, you have to put him up there, like, behind Ward as the number 3 pound for pound, I think. You know, his resume is strong. He's beaten, you know, top guys. Like, now you have to really consider this guy being up there. You know, I think if Pacquiao wins, will he go after the Mayweather fight? We don't know. You know, I really don't want to get into the Mayweather thing. I think they're doing us wrong as fans by keep making this fight drag on. It's just getting people hyped up to talk about it. It may never happen. It may happen, and if it happens, you know, that's what's up. But I mean, it's too late already. Like, we should have gotten that fight years ago. You know, but I would really like to see a Bradley Mayweather fight. That'd be a good fight for me, I think. Both are really good boxing, technical fighters. So, yeah, I mean, I think it'd be a good fight just to see what approach Bradley uses. You know, but that's for a different topic. But I got Bradley winning a 12-round unanimous decision. Now, it may be UD, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was a split decision either. We just got to see how it plays out. I mean, I haven't seen Manny get a knockout since what? What was it? Was it Cotto? Or was it Margarito? I think it may have been Margarito. I'm not sure. I forget. But it's been a long time since Manny got a knockout. So, Bradley is a tough dude. Not just going to go down just like that. So, you know what I mean? Expect a good fight. It's going to be a good fight for fighting fans, for boxing itself. And, you know, Bob Arum, he puts up pretty good shows, you know, regardless of the Cold War and all that. On top of that, the undercard, it's not that strong, but they have my boy Ray Beltran, big time supporter of him. We've been following him here in Pennsylvania for a long time. I speak for myself, representing Colossal Boxing. I know my colleagues as well support him, but I've followed his career a long time, and I got the pleasure of being able to interview him through messaging because he's in camp right now. I didn't want to bother him and take away from his time getting ready for his fight with Rocky. Now, everybody knows how I feel on that fight he had last time, Beltran with you know, the Scottish guy. I don't want to say his name because I really don't feel like he won that fight. Ray Beltran won that fight, and they unjustifiably took that fight from him. And I, to this day, defend that because everybody in the boxing world saw that, and everybody knew it was wrong. Days after, I was still getting inboxes and messages of people upset about that, you know, and you know, I got the pleasure of reaching out to Beltran and, you know, let him know, you know, like, yo, you won that fight. But you know, we spoke, we did the interview. I got the pleasure of asking him a few questions. So, you know, we'll start off with the first question that I asked him. My first question was, we knew he had his fight with Rocky. You know, what was his thoughts going into the fight? You know, and after watching Rocky get beat by Mikey Garcia, you know, the way that he did with the knockout, if he felt that he was going to be any type of problem for Beltran. If Beltran felt that he was going to come in and you know, necessarily coming off a loss like Rocky did, you know, form any type of, you know, we know Rocky's a sloppy fighter. You know, he's sloppy, but for some reason he's a tough little Puerto Rican who tends to hang in there for rounds. So, that was my first question. He responded with, he felt that he was confident. It had nothing to do with his opponent. It's the result of his training camp and his fights in the past. He said he's ready for this moment. He doesn't focus on the loss that Rocky has to Garcia or how he fights. His team does that. He focuses on himself and the gym training to make as less mistakes possible and to train for any situation needed on fight night. He said he didn't see his fight against Garcia and he's training hard because every opponent is a problem to resolve in a ring. And he wants to win, so he won't be taking Rocky lightly. Now, that to me is old school boxing. Those are guys that they speak facts. Like, you can never take no opponent lightly. A guy may have lost last time, he may have a bad night. So I gave my respect to Beltran. I let him know that that's what true warriors speak like that. I asked him, he had worked with Freddie Roach and Manny Pac before. I asked him if they were playing a part in this fight. If he, if at any time he'd been helping him out. Ray told me that no, that they have their fight. He has his camp, his trainer, and they're doing their own camp. So respect to him for that. With Crawford beating Burns, many people believe that belt is Beltran's. So I took initiative to ask him, if he gets past Rocky, is Crawford an opponent that he's looking at next? Because, at the end of the day, a lot of people believe that's his belt. Beltran won that fight. He told me he'll fight anybody. He doesn't want to overlook nothing on Rocky. That he first has to win. And then after he wins, that he'll see what's next. He said he can no longer trust the business. At the end of the day, they do whatever they feel is convenient for them, not for the fighter. And he learned that in the Burns fight. It was funny because as we spoke, after he made that comment, he gave me an LOL. And there's not many fighters that you see take a sense of humor after being robbed like that. So I responded to him that I admired how he joked about that. It's not too often that you see that, coming from fighters. And, I told him that we all learn, it's been a lot of bad decisions in boxing lately. I then moved on to my final question, and I asked him if he saw himself moving up in weight in the future, or if he was planning to stay at, the weight class he was at for the remainder of his career. A lot of people been asking, where do you go? I know he's talked about fighting Ruslan, and he's a guy, he fights anybody. So he responded back to me, told me that it just depends on what happens on the next couple of fights. He said he wants to fight a couple of more fights in lightweight. But if things don't look too good there, then he'll move up to super lightweight. He said he feels his body is growing and that he feels it's a little bit harder to make weight lately. But for right now, he's focused on the lightweight division, and, the future would determine where he goes from there. After that, we exchanged, words. I let him know, the support we have up here for him, and Colossal Boxing Talk supports his movement, and we look forward to seeing him on April 12th. I think that fight is going to be a big undercard fight under the Pacquiao card. He wanted me to let everybody know that he wants to thank all the fans from Pennsylvania for showing him support, all the fans around the world for showing him support, and that he's going to do his best to put a good show April 12th, and he hopes everybody enjoys the fight. And I think we always get that from Ray Beltran. He's never come short. I've been watching him a long time. I admire the guy in and outside the ring. I think he's a tough opponent. I think he comes in with the mindset of old school mindset. You know, I'm here to win. I don't worry about the guy. I worry about me because I can't be beat. You know, and a lot of fighters lack that mentality now. So, with that said, those are my picks for Ray versus Rocky, Pacquiao versus Bradley. I think it's gonna be an exciting fight for boxing fans all over. Um, you know, we're still in the beginning of the year. There's still a lot of good fights. If Ray can get past Rocky, maybe we see a Ray versus Crawford. You know, which would be an excellent fight. You know, if Pacquiao gets past Bradley, maybe we get a Pacquiao Mayweather. If Bradley gets past Pacquiao, maybe we get a Bradley Mayweather. You know, there's so many fights out there that's still can be made, and you know, I want people to understand that we've had a lot of bad boxing decisions, but boxing is still alive. You know, we still have a lot of good talent still coming up. Hopefully this year we could get better judgments on fights and keep on from there. You know, I think Pacquiao Bradley's it's gonna come down to whether or not Bradley can stay, whether he learns from the first fight and adapts and adjusts to that, and if Pacquiao can make the necessary adjustments to Bradley, you know, and if he's still hungry. A lot of people don't think he's hungry anymore. He held back from knocking out Rios. You know, even though Rios he's you know, doesn't move, he's basically a punching bag. You know, he's a tough fighter. You don't knock a guy who goes in there and take punches and doesn't go down for 12 rounds. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter which way you look at it. You know, but a lot of people think Pacquiao held back on that. You know, Bradley said it. You know, you had the chance and you backed away from him. You know, so it's going to be good to see whether Pacquiao's hunger is still there, whether he still has a couple of fights left, and whether Bradley is that guy or not. At the end of the day, I think this fight will solidify who the number 3 pound for pound guy is in the world, and can only lead to bigger fights. I mean, you still have Thurman at 147. You know, you have Porter, Paulie. You know, the guys are out there. The fights are there. Just now, we'll see. This is the big dogs. After this, you got the Mayweather fight. You know, and then it's really gonna break down to, you know, September fights, and expect a good year of boxing. Expect a good year of boxing. It's only getting better, and it's only gonna get better. It's been your boy Mouse with Colossal Boxing Talk. We want to send out a special shout out to Ray Beltran. We support that you took the time out out of your training camp to speak to me. And we wish you the best in your upcoming fight. Me personally, I hope you get the knockout win. You know, but you know, I don't want to sound too biased. But shout out to everybody out there, man. The championship rounds that show us love. All the groups out there on Facebook that show us love. You know, the homies. I got Mark De La Rosa, Derek Mejia, Omi Medina, Carlos Ponce de Leon. You guys always showing us love, and always, you know, getting at me for not shouting you guys out. So there you go, man. Colossal Boxing Talk coming at you once again. Look out for more videos on the lookout, you heard?